opportunities and things that we maybe wouldn't have done otherwise. So this first piece I'll be playing is an unaccompanied Bach cello suite. It's the Prelude to Suite Number 2. This is my first time playing an unaccompanied cello suite, so it's been a good time, and also it's good for social distancing because I'm playing it by myself. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into that. All right. So there was the Bach. Next up on the program is Bruce Broughton's Turbulence. This piece is full of dynamic contrast, extremes, both soft, loud, fast, slow, all this stuff. It is all over the place. And I couldn't think of anywhere better to experience turbulence than on an airplane. So this next piece is entitled Wonderland Duets. This is a piece I found in my undergraduate. Dr. Genevieve Clarkson and I did the duet. It was a lot of fun, and because of COVID and everything being locked down, Professor Stein wanted us to all do mashup videos, and I couldn't think of a better piece to do a mashup video than this. So we have 2 tubas and a narrator, and it was a really fun process learning how to, put the parts together, do all the video editing. I learned a whole ton about video editing, adding borders, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I hope you... Oh, and thank you so much to Xander Trimis and Daniel Larsen for working with me and collaborating on this project and taking their time to record and, help me out. So thank you guys very much. And without further ado, Wonderland Duets.
Speak roughly to your little one and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because he knows it teases. Wow, wow, wow. I speak severely to my boy. I beat him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases. Wow, wow, wow. Will you walk a little faster? Said waiting to a snail. There's a porpoise close behind us, and he's treading on my tail. See how eagerly the lobsters and the turtles all advance. They are waiting on the shingle. Will you come and join the dance? Will you? Won't you? Will you? Won't you? Will you join the dance? You can really have no notion how delightful it will be when they take us up and throw us with the lobsters out to sea. But the snail replied, too far, and gave a look askance. Said he thanked the whiting kindly, but he would not join the dance. Would not, could not, would not, could not, would not join the dance. Would not, could not, would not, could not, could not join the dance. What matters it how far we go, his scaly friend replied. There is another shore, you know, up on the other side. The further off from England, the nearer is to France. Then turn not pale, beloved snail, and come and join the dance. Will you, won't you, will you, won't you, will you, join the dance? Will you, won't you, will you, won't you join the dance? 'Tis the voice of the lobster, I heard him declare. You have baked me too brown. I must sugar my hair. duck with its eyelids, so he with his nose trims his belt and his buttons, and turns out his toes. When the sands are all dry, he is gay as a lark, and we'll talk in contemptuous tones of the shark. But when the tide rises and sharks are around, his voice has a timid and tremulous sound. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borgoves, and the mome wraths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the man's own foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O fabulous day, Kula Kule! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy tones did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogroves, and the mome wraths outgrabe.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed watching that video as much as I enjoyed editing it. Even just watching it just now, I can't help but smile. It's just such a fun, silly piece. And I'm very fortunate that Xander and Daniel were able to help me, and they did a fantastic job, and I think they really helped to sell the piece. The next piece on the program is Don Haddad's Suite for Tuba. This is a little bit of an easier piece. I think it's usually programmed for like high schoolers and, you know, maybe people going into college, but it's a really fun, interesting piece of music. There's a lot that you can do to work on it. There's a lot of different styles, different tempos, different things you can do with it to really make it interesting. So I've lately been picking one piece for each of my programs that are a little on the easier side, something that my students would be able to play and enjoy and learn it for myself so I can help them, but also so I can learn better how all these things work. I can spend more time focusing on musicality rather than playing a bunch of notes or anything like that. So without further ado, Suite for Tuba. Thank you to Ellen Sommer. She was the pianist who recorded both the Haddad Tuba Suite and Broughton Turbulence. So thank you very much to you for doing that for me. This was a different project for everybody. So I really appreciate her taking the time to go to a studio, get it recorded, and do all that for me. So thank you very much, Ellen. The next piece on this program is a movement from Elizabeth Raum's Sweet Dances. This first one is called the Blue Tango, but it's blue as in blowing air instead of the color. So it's kind of punny, and the other titles are very similar. This is just a really fun piece. It's another unaccompanied one, and it's a tango. It's fun. It's, stylistic. It's very energetic. So I hope you all enjoy Blue Tango. And that was the tango. This last piece, actually, before we get there, a whole lot of work went into doing this. As you guys watching, and if you're watching the comments as well, Professor Stein mentioned the green screen. I'm sure you guys noticed the different backgrounds. I spent a lot of time researching. There were a lot of things I had to buy, like this green screen. I've got lighting. I got a whole bunch of fancy stuff. And if people are interested, if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the comments. And after this last piece, I can answer people's questions, and I can talk more about the work that went into all of this if people are interested. So I figured I'd just throw that out there. So on to the last piece for tonight. This last piece is entitled Exit the Foundry. This is a piece I heard my first tuba professor play, Dr. Alex Lappins, and I ended up playing it on my senior recital at my undergrad. And it's a really fun piece. It's with fixed media, so there's a lot of sampled saws and hammers and a lot of factory or foundry sounds. And then it's just got this really nice rhythmic section at the beginning. There's some nice melodies throughout. It's a very versatile piece, and I think it's really neat, and it's a great way to end the show. So I hope you all enjoy Exit the Foundry. And again, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask, I can answer them after this piece, and we can just sit and talk tech. Nobody heard any of that. I don't know if anybody heard any of that. I forgot to turn my microphone back on. But if you have any questions about any of the tech or anything, feel free to ask. After this last piece, Exit the Foundry, I can answer questions. I can, talk more about everything that went into this, the green screen, the lighting, and all of that fun stuff. So now we're on to Exit the Foundry. And that's it. Thank you again, everybody who came and watched. I really appreciate it. This was a new thing for me. So feel free to leave comments. I would love some feedback on what you think went well, what you think maybe could have been a little better. Just any general thoughts or anything. I would really greatly appreciate it. Because this is something I'm planning on continuing to do in the future and improving the process and all this fun stuff. So any feedback you guys have for me, feel free to leave it. I really appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to leave them now. I saw one person ask about the backgrounds. So what I have behind me is a green screen. Let me see if I can just go ahead and turn that off. So here's my green screen. And it's great. It allows you to get a more clean background. I know we all use Zoom. We've all seen the Zoom backgrounds, and this just gives a nice clean image. And on top of that, my lighting that I've got here just helps to bring everything together. And in case you are wondering, this is actually my bedroom, but it's just a picture of my bedroom. When I cleaned it up, there's a bunch of stuff behind that green screen there. So it's been a fun process. I don't know if people want to talk about tech, but the recital's over, so if you got stuff to do, you can go ahead and head out, but I'll stay and talk a little bit. So starting this at the beginning, with everything getting shut down, I was thinking about what could I do, because I could always do a recital, and that's kind of fun, but I have a lot of interests, so I've picked up audio engineering. I took some classes and fell in love with it, so I've got a couple of microphones that I've got set up. I did a lot of recording for the studio. And then on top of that, I'm also just like a computer enthusiast. I built my own desktop. I have 2 desktops here. And it was just a, nice project that brought everything together. So I got to use my audio engineering skills. I've got microphones. I set balance, reverb. I did all this stuff to try to make the recital sound good. I had a powerful computer that allowed me to do all of this, because this is a little intensive on a computer, and I've had problems streaming for other people on my laptop, so I'm very thankful that those 2 things went together. And there was a lot of computer software that I had to learn. I'm using OBS to stream. I had to completely figure out how this works, and there was a bunch of trial and error getting everything to fit together and work well. So Professor Stein asked, what was the biggest challenge? I think the biggest challenge, and it's one I was still dealing with, was just trying to get the balance right between the fixed media pieces, so Exit the Foundry, all the stuff with Ellen on piano, all of that, trying to balance my mics. I have my talking mic here, and I've got a pickup mic up above. I can show you. Break the illusion a little bit, but there's a mic up there that I've been using to capture all the sound, but trying to balance that out with the fixed media stuff was very challenging, because for whatever reason, so the mics can only pick up so much. If I push them too loud, things start clipping and it doesn't sound great. But then also I have to be able to hear the recordings, so I can play along with it, play in tune, hear the rhythm, and do all of that. So that kind of also ties into that struggle, just getting all of that to fit together, and it went pretty well tonight. I'm pretty happy. There were a couple spots that were a little dicey, but overall, most of it worked really, really well. Yeah, so that was probably the biggest challenge, just getting the balance right. What I actually ended up doing is I've got essentially 2 instances of my overhead mic. So I just doubled the amount of output that it gets, and that seemed to get me pretty close. Not quite to where I want it, but I think it went pretty well. If you guys have any thoughts on that, feel free to share that. But I think it went pretty well. It's definitely better than it was, and I'm able to hear the piano, and everything seems to be balanced out pretty well. What else? The video editing was super fun. That was an interesting project. Professor Steins left another question. Will I do this again? Yes. I'm absolutely planning on doing this again. It was a fun project. It was a lot of work. It was a lot more work than I had originally anticipated. But I think it was a lot of fun. It, like I said before, it brings my interests together into one thing. So it's a fun project because I get to enjoy, audio engineering and playing with my computer and playing tuba and doing it all at the same time. So I'm definitely going to be doing this again and continuing to improve it and, see how creative I can get with the backgrounds and all of this other stuff. So I'm very excited to move forward and see where I can go from here. There's still 15 people here. If anybody other than Professor Stein has a question you'd like to ask, go ahead, feel free. If not, I don't know. What else could I talk about? Oh, the video editing. I was going to talk about the video editing. So, like I said before, Professor Stein had asked us to make a mashup video because, we're in lockdown, but it kind of allows us to reach out to people we wouldn't normally get to play with. So Daniel Larsen, the tuba player on the Wonderland Duets, he lives in Texas, and I guess I could drive 12 hours, but that's, not really a fun thing to do. So it was nice being able to collaborate with him from a distance. And then Xander Trimis isn't too far. He's about 2 hours away from here. But same thing, it was just nice being able to do this video collaboration, and learning how to use Premiere was pretty fun. I'm really happy with how the video turned out. I hope you guys at least chuckled a little bit. I was smiling and laughing the whole way. Because it was just really fun, and I get to be creative and try these new things. So I'm probably going to be doing that mashup video again as well, just finding another piece, figuring out creative ways to put things together. How do I project onto the green screen? So this will get pretty technical. So what I have set up on OBS, so I have my webcam, and I have a chroma key set up. So basically what that does is it looks for a specific color, and I can kind of change the range of it, but it looks for a specific color, and it essentially removes it from the frame. So you can put other stuff in behind it. So I could have nothing behind me. I have a picture of my bedroom. You saw all the different backgrounds throughout the recital. And the reason it's a green screen is it's just this neon green color isn't super common in most people's setups or clothing or anything like that. But they also have blue screens, magenta screens. They all work the same way. You remove this specific color, which works pretty well. There's a couple spots, like I don't know if you can see like the arm of my chair. It's a little fuzzy because it's, I guess, kind of close to green. But yeah, so that's how that all works. It's a chroma key. Wish I was louder in comparison to my accompaniment. Yep, that was something I talked about, just getting that balance, and it's something I'm still working out. I tried a whole bunch of things, so having multiple tracks, I put compression, I tried boosting it that way, I tried, lowering the accompaniment, all these things, and we haven't quite nailed down, or I haven't quite nailed down the specific balance that I want. but I'm getting closer, and I'm sure with more time playing around with all of this technology and stuff, I will find a solution. This has been a lot of that kind of trial and error. Just, okay, let's see what works, what doesn't, and just throwing ideas out and trying them and just, seeing what happens and moving forward from there. Yeah. Are there any other questions or comments? If there's not, I'll probably be signing off in a little bit. I'll wait. There's probably like a 10 to 30 second delay on the stream, so I'll wait a little bit to see if anybody else has anything else they'd like to know. Thank you again for showing up and tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun for me. It was very different, but 2020 has kind of done that for a lot of people. It's just very different, and being able to just roll with the punches and just keep moving forward and try to make the best out of the situation really just made the year a lot better. This project has really been keeping me going the last couple weeks because it was a lot of fun to dig into and focus on. So, am I planning on doing any multiple tuba arrangements with myself? That's certainly an idea. And I think that's definitely something that would be fun to try out. I played around with it early on when I first bought my first microphone. I played some duets and recorded both parts myself. And I think that would definitely be a little easier to put together than with other people, just because I have like the one idea, so I know how I want the piece to sound, and I feel like it'd be easier to re-record and line up parts. And I'm not saying that Xander and Daniel did a bad job, because they did fantastic. I couldn't be any happier. Everything just kind of fit together. They're great at what they do, and they did a fantastic job on the project. But yeah, I think it'd be fun to try recording a piece with myself on each individual part. I think that would be a lot of fun. Will this be available to watch again? Yes, I am leaving the stream up, so if you decide to watch it again, you can access it through the same link that you used to get here. You should be able to watch it all again. And if you want to leave a comment then, I'm pretty sure you can. So feel free to do that as well. All right. And with that, I think I'm going to be signing off. So thank you all again so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the recital. I had a lot of fun putting it together. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you all have a great night. Happy holidays. And we're almost